Okay, welcome to our social media segment. Our social media segment is going to cover a number of various social media options. We'll start with LinkedIn and then we'll talk about Facebook and Twitter. This segment is going to be devoted almost entirely to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is sort of the Facebook of the professional world. It's used pretty much more or less as a resume builder and a professional contact networking utility. It's really useful. If you're job hunting, it's very useful for reaching out and putting your aptitudes out there. It's also useful for connecting with people on a professional level. So we'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. Everyone's, I think in law enforcement we're pretty hyper paranoid, or hopefully just reasonably paranoid about how much information we put out there into the general public about ourselves. And so I do want to make sure that we know that there are, in fact, dangers. If you put too much information on LinkedIn or any social media site, you are potentially making yourself a target for identity theft. The more information that's out there, the more that people could use your personally identifying information to produce false lines of credit or things like that. If you are doing investigations, you could potentially compromise operational security. I'll be totally candid. I did a major faux pas, big time blunder here a few months ago when I wasn't thinking, and I was logged into my personal LinkedIn account and I went and looked up a bad guy on LinkedIn to try to find information for him. Of course, LinkedIn tells you when somebody looks at your profile, and so a few days later I checked my LinkedIn profile and as a matter of routine, and found out that the bad guy had been looking at my profile. That's not good. In fact, that's idiotic is what it is. So I should have known better, and that's a mistake that I hope nobody else makes out there, because it could compromise your operational security, compromise your safety. And we want to avoid that because obviously if my bad guy had been prone to violence or had been of that nature, I've opened myself up to ambush or violent attack because there's information on my LinkedIn account that tells them where I work, right? So those are some things to consider. Now, there are some good benefits for LinkedIn, and those include business networking, job hunting, and if you have a specific niche in your industry, it can put you in contact with like-minded individuals, and you can discuss, niche topics and info sharing. So it's actually very useful in that regard. And I don't want to scare you away from it completely. And so if you're going to use LinkedIn, let's just look at a couple of safety guidelines. Number one rule of thumb is don't accept anybody into your contact list unless you've actually met them in person. Now, this is something we tell, middle schoolers and high schoolers about, if you don't want sexual predators to look for you or to take advantage of you, don't accept anybody's friend request without knowing them in person. The same thing is true for adults on LinkedIn. A case in point is that a couple of years ago, somebody did a little study and a little research and found out that most or many of the higher level Homeland Security administrators were infiltrated by Soviet spies who were posing as Homeland Security agents or international security agents, and they wisely, the bad guys in this case, wisely used very, very attractive, for example, Russian models, or I use the term model loosely, but certain people of ill repute, they used their pictures, and apparently high-ranking government officials in the United States can't resist the urge to get connected with beautiful Russian spies. So that's bad. We don't want that to happen. Now, that's just a rumor. I've not confirmed that myself, but it sounds plausible, and so I would just say don't accept requests from anybody that you haven't actually physically shaken their hand in person for a couple of reasons. Number one is the security issue. And number two is just it preserves the integrity of LinkedIn. LinkedIn allows you to support and promote people that you're professionally affiliated with. And if you're not really professionally affiliated with them, you shouldn't be promoting them or allowing them to promote you. So it preserves the integrity of the intent or the spirit of LinkedIn. Now, you want to be aware of what other people see when they look at your LinkedIn account, and you can do that by going to the button that says View Profile As, and then choose Public. Because when you log into LinkedIn and you look at your profile, you're seeing it from your point of view as an administrator, and it gives you a lot more access to your information for obvious reasons. But you want to see what the general public sees when they look at your LinkedIn profile. As you can see here, my LinkedIn profile lists my work phone number and my work address, and that's fine for most cases. However, if you're trying to limit your exposure to bad guys who may be looking for you at work, maybe putting your work address isn't such a good idea up there. So we want to know how to edit that information. And the way you edit that information is by going up there to the Profile tab, and by clicking on that, a drop-down menu comes down, and you're able to then edit your profile. And you can also, as you can see from that drop-down menu, you can see who's viewed your profile, which may be useful if you feel like you may have been compromised. But you click on the Edit Profile option, and it takes you back to your view of your profile, and you'll notice all these little pencils appear, pencil icons appear next to your any field that can be edited. So that pencil icon is an indicator that you can change that information. Just click on the pencil icon and change it to whatever new information you want. So for example, my profile now indicates that I am the owner-producer of GoBaby Video, and that is true. I do have an LLC that produces corporate and training videos. I shouldn't tell you that because of the quality of this presentation being done for government purposes and not using my home studio. I digress. Main reason I chose to use my side business as my main LinkedIn profile listing is because if bad guys are looking for me, they may just see, oh, he's an owner, producer of a game or a video production company, and not scroll further down the list and see that I actually work for the Attorney General's office. So that's really something that you can do or not do. It's up to you. However, you may want to change your work address there. And one way to do that really efficiently is to go lease a private mailbox from a private mailbox store like UPS or Mailbox, etc. I called UPS in 2015, and it's a $15 setup fee, $16 a month, but they waive, I think they give you 3 free months. They're running some kind of a special, so it's only $200 for 15 months, and with that you get a physical address that's not a P.O. box, and you can use that on a number of different applications. So for example, if you were going to renew your driver's license, you could change your, you don't have to renew your driver's license, you just go down to a change of address on your driver's license and change it to your UPS store. You can do that for your vehicle registration through the MVD. Anytime you apply for a loan or credit application, you use your UPS or Mailbox, etc. store address, because it will give them a physical address that's not a P.O. box, and they protect it. They don't sell this information, which, from what I understand, if you were to use a P.O. box with the U.S. Postal Service, number one, you couldn't use a P.O. box number for a lot of these purposes, and number two, the U.S. Post Office does apparently resell your information to third parties for marketing purposes, and then your name and address will appear again on Spokeo.com, for example. So let's do a quick review for LinkedIn. One pro and one con. What are they? Operational security could be compromised, but you have networking capabilities with niche information. Best rule of thumb for accepting connections: don't accept anybody unless you've actually met them in person. What icon is used to indicate a field that can be edited? The pen or pencil icon appears next to that, so you can go and change that address to an address from a UPS store, for example. And there's your option right there. Instead of your work address, use your private P.O. box. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Our next segment, we will talk about Facebook.